Hey there, and welcome to the garden. So today is actually a little bit of a warmer December day. It's actually not feeling too freezing, and we've got a few days of kind of warmer temperatures. So I'm gonna do a little planting. I kind of can't believe that I'm planting here in December, but I am, and we're gonna see how this goes. This is totally an experiment. So these are the seedlings that I started in the unheated greenhouse. I think it was like a month ago, maybe a little bit more than a month ago. They were definitely having some trouble growing in the unheated greenhouse. I just have one of these little, Amazon unheated greenhouses, which I love. It's linked in the description if you're curious about one of these, and I have some more videos about growing in these. But starting seedlings in it in November was not advisable because I think mostly with sunlight. It's definitely warm enough in there, but this time of year, obviously we're getting close to, we might be at the shortest day of the year. So trying to start seedlings doesn't really work because they just don't have enough light to really get going. So I actually brought them in the house for the last 2 weeks, and they've been under grow lights. I fertilized them and put them under grow lights for a couple weeks, and that has really perked them up. They're looking much greener. They grew probably about an inch, and they're really taking off. And so I thought I would bring them out here and actually plant them into some of the containers. They've been in the unheated greenhouse, kind of hardening back off to outdoor temperatures. We've got a few warmer by the temperatures in the 50s Fahrenheit, 40s, 50s Fahrenheit. So like a few days on the forecast that are going to be like that. And I think it'll be enough to hopefully get them to a place where they're happy and doing well out here. So I pulled out a few more pots. I've got a few different pot situations going on out here. Pulled them all out, and I'm just gonna put some potting soil, just regular potting soil, in these different pots and plant some of these seedlings. Let me show you what we've got in here, and then we can kind of decide where to plant them. So I've got some Rouge de Vienna radicchio. I'm very excited about this. I'm very interested to see how this grows. So I think I'm gonna keep everything in its own container, kind of keep varieties together and not really mix things. I think that'll just be simplest. But so some radicchio. I have some pak choi. Really excited to have this. Pak choi is so great. Some upland cressy greens, some bronze guard leaf lettuce, cinnamon lettuce, Grand Rapids lettuce, giant noble spinach. Lost the tag on this thing here. I'm not quite sure what that, I think it's more spinach, but it's honestly not looking very good. I may not plant these seedlings out. Then a bunch of bunching onions, just a few different kinds, and then some frillhead lettuce. The lettuce obviously has grown a lot faster than the other things, so that was a little bit of a good mental note to myself for next time. I know. So the lettuce grows much faster, so maybe I'll probably start the lettuce in its own tray and not next to, something like this cressy green, which is obviously a lot smaller. The pak choi is a little small to be planting out. That's the only one I'm a little worried about. Maybe the cressy greens, but we're just gonna give it a try and see. And ultimately, things are probably gonna be happier in the ground. I usually find, especially starting things in these tiny little plug trays, I usually find that once you plant, they take off right away and they look so much happier. It's usually pretty dramatic and kind of fun to see. Yeah, they just explode once you get them out and into some real soil and some real space. Usually I start things in bigger cups, and then they last longer and they do better in the actual cup. But in the plug trays, you really do have to be ready to get them out of those trays because they're just not big enough. Okay, so let me show you kind of the pot situation. I pulled out a bunch of different containers and added them to different areas in the garden. So I've got a few containers here. This one I just need to pull out, clean that out and get fresh soil in these. So I've got a couple containers here, a couple over here, and then a couple over here. And then I just added them into my little container arrangements. And yeah, we're just gonna fill in some new soil and put in some plants, and this is gonna be kind of fun. All right, I need to do a little sweeping up around here, but it's so cute to see them all in their pots. I put down a little bit of slow release fertilizer and a little Repelzol to keep the squirrels out, just over them, just to make sure that nobody like digs in the containers. But it's fun to have those containers. I know that these plants are just going to take off in these pots, so I'm going to have to come in and water everything in really well. I just turned the water off to outside, so I'm gonna have to go in, turn everything back on and water everything, but they're gonna be so happy. And oh, I got dirt on my face. Hopefully these next few days of warmer temperatures will be really good too, and allow them to keep growing and keep doing well. I tried to do those garden chores with my hair down. I don't know how people do that. I had to put my hair up. It's like, I am sure all of you know Laura from Garden Answer. She always wears her hair down, and I'm like, wow, more power to you. I had to put my hair up, but that's just random little thought. But anyways, I gotta get the garden kind of cleaned up. I've got some other kind of things to think about, but it's getting cold out here. Baby girl's out here with me and she's waking up, so I'm gonna bring her inside. But all of these got planted, which is just, yeah, super fun. And then we'll see. They could all die in shock once we have this cool weather in the next couple days here. It's definitely not like December in Virginia is not really planting time at all. I started them on a whim, not really thinking through like what planting out seedlings in December or January would mean. So yeah, it's just, we'll see what happens. But if I could get like at least some of these radicchios, which are supposed to be really, really cold hardy, if I could get them to survive, I would be super excited. I've never grown radicchio before, and I don't know what it is. I just really, I really have an interest in it, and now I'm just really excited. I got these seeds and got these started, and now I really want to see how they do. So hopefully they're cold hardy enough to handle, yeah, being out here, being kind of put through their paces in December. As I said, it might be a little bit too much for them, but we're gonna give it a shot and we'll see what happens. So that's a little update on those seedlings, and I'll keep you posted as we keep going through the month here and we see what happens. There's not really too much else going on in the garden right now. I did see though the fish. So here's the container pond. I don't know if you can see the little fish in there. They have been doing so well. So we got a little film of ice on the top of this container a couple times, but it hasn't, you know, frozen solid by any means. And I'm keeping an eye on it, whether or not I need to get some kind of like a heater out here in it. But the fish, let's see if any more will come up. They have been doing great. There's a little goldfish. He's in there eating. It is recommended that you don't feed them like fish food after it gets below 50 degrees, I think. Oh, there's a few more over here swimming around, because their metabolism, so they don't actually need like food. So I haven't been feeding them, although I don't really feed them much anyways, because usually they're eating all the mosquito larvae and everything that's in there. But yeah, they just seem completely unbothered by the cold temperatures. We had our first, real cold nights, and that was kind of like what I felt like was a big test for them, and they're doing great. So it's super fun to come out in the garden and see the fish swimming around. It's just like, yeah, the cutest thing. All right, I gotta head inside, but I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.